So Red Plus stands for reduction of emissions from deforestation and degradation through the conservation, sustainable development, and the assessment of carbon stocks.
What is it that you're doing in Belize? What's the objective?
So the objective of the Red Plus project is to have a system where Belize is able to assess what we have nationally in terms of forest cover, and if we are able to sell our carbon stock on the international market. Basically, Red Plus is an initiative started by the UN in 2016. Belize signed on to the Paris Agreement in 2016, like I mentioned, where countries from first world countries came together and with this grand idea to reward countries such as Belize, rich in biodiversity, to continue protecting their biodiversity, and in return they would get benefits through the sale of their stocks. So there are three phases to Red Plus. The first is the readiness, the second is the implementation, and the third is the monitoring and evaluation. Currently, Belize is in the first stage of Red Plus. This is where we as a country are starting to get our mechanisms in place in order for us to implement. What this means is that we have to do a series of consultations with Belizeans across the country from several sectors. These include indigenous persons, because of the nature of the lands that we have in Belize. As you know, we have the communal system, we have trustee system in terms of the Garifuna Council. Also, we have private landowners, and we have nationally protected lands too, whether it be private protection or under the government. And so we have to consult with all these persons to find out exactly what we have, what is being protected, how many acres, and how they envision Red Plus to work for them. The idea isn't for Red Plus or UN or the government to come and say this is what is happening and this is how we're doing it. The idea is for them to give us the feedback and tell us how they want it to happen. So when we talk about benefits can come in several fronts, whether it be financial compensation or through infrastructural development or whatever social programs that are put in place. However, like I mentioned, these things have to come from the stakeholders. As we know, it's not going to be where a huge amount of money is entrusted into one person, etc. These discussions need to happen. And so we are in those phases of those discussions. Consultations are coming on stream, such as the benefit sharing consultation, and these consultants will be going into these communities to do exactly that.
So today we invited some stakeholders. These include the indigenous communities, the villages. We have some participants from the villages of San Jose, Nalumka, Silver Creek, and Big Falls, and we also invited two personnel from the St. Vincent block, which we call the Cerro MPG. So we also have two representatives from there as well.
What are some of the topics to be discussed?
The main topics and objectives of today's planning session is mostly to do awareness session on climate change, and especially Red Plus, but also building that working relationship with these stakeholders.
So far, what has the participation been like?
It has been great. The participants are willing, they're open to engagement and learning new things.
Sir, can you tell us what your mandate as Indigenous Coordinator is?
My mandate is to reach out to as many indigenous communities, and these include the Yucatec Mayas of the North, the Garifuna communities, and the Maya communities on what Red Plus is, what Red Plus means to Belize, and what input they can have in the project.